He walked into that bank just like any other customer, calm, polite, and confident. But the moment he stepped up to the counter, the air changed. The manager's fake smile faded, replaced by something colder, something sharper. Papers were shuffled, excuses were made, and soon the whispers began. What she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the man they were humiliating wasn't just a customer. He was their boss, the owner of the very bank they worked for. And the way this moment unfolded would change everything. For years, Marcus Bell had worked his way up from nothing. Born in a small southern town, he grew up watching his parents struggle, his father fixing cars, his mother cleaning offices long after midnight. Money was always tight, but Marcus had something more powerful than privilege: persistence. He studied finance on scholarships, slept in his car during college, and built his first small investment firm with little more than grit and faith. Decades later, his quiet determination had turned into an empire, and one of his proudest achievements was acquiring a chain of regional banks known for community trust. But Marcus wasn't the type to show off. He believed in humility, in walking among people not above them. So on that gray Tuesday morning, when he walked into one of his own branches dressed in a simple suit, no one recognized him. No entourage, no announcement, just a man looking to make a transaction at his own institution. He had come to deposit a check from a local charity event, a large donation he'd personally made. But before he could even hand over the slip, the manager's tone turned cold. What started as a routine errand would soon reveal just how deep prejudice could run, even in the very system he had built to help others. It began subtly, a glance, a pause, the tightening of a smile. The young teller took one look at the name on the check and hesitated. "Is this yours?" he asked, eyes narrowing just slightly. Marcus nodded, but instead of processing it, the teller excused himself and disappeared into an office. Moments later, the branch manager, woman in a sharp gray suit, emerged. Her tone was polite, too polite, the kind of tone laced with superiority. She asked unnecessary questions. Where did he get the check? What business was he with? Did he have an account there? Marcus calmly answered, every word measured, every movement restrained. But he could feel it, that heavy, familiar weight of suspicion pressing down on him. She didn't see a successful man or a loyal client. She saw only the color of his skin. Then came the final insult. She looked at the check again, a sizable donation to a local youth foundation, and smirked. "I'm afraid we can't process this, sir," she said, her voice coated with condescension. And with a flick of her wrist, she tore the check in half. The sound of paper ripping cut through the quiet lobby like a scream. Heads turned. A few customers froze mid-transaction. The security guard shifted uneasily by the door. Marcus stood motionless, his jaw tightening, but his composure never cracked. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't demand recognition. Instead, he simply thanked her and asked, "Are you certain about that decision?" She smirked again, completely. As he turned to leave, whispers followed him out, murmurs that carried both pity and mockery. To her, he was just another man trying to pass off something that didn't belong to him. But what she didn't realize was that her actions were being watched by someone in the corporate office reviewing the live branch feed for an upcoming audit. That someone recognized him instantly, and within hours, the story that started in a small lobby would ripple far beyond those glass doors. The next morning, the branch opened as usual. The same manager arrived early, her coffee in one hand, her phone in the other. She was still laughing about the incident from the day before, bragging quietly to a colleague about how she'd handled a suspicious customer. But as she stepped into her office, she noticed something strange. The regional director was already there, waiting. His expression was unreadable. He simply handed her an envelope marked urgent, executive visit. Within minutes, several black cars pulled up outside. Security rushed to the door. And then, walking calmly through the lobby, came Marcus Bell, the same man she had humiliated the day before. But this time, he wasn't holding a torn check. He was flanked by senior executives, his presence commanding quiet authority. The manager's face drained of color. She tried to speak, to apologize, but no words came. Marcus didn't need to say much. His eyes said everything: disappointment, dignity, power restrained by grace. He looked around the branch, then at the employees who had stood silently and watched. Finally, he turned back to the manager. "This branch," he said slowly, "was built to serve the community, with fairness and respect. Yesterday, that mission was violated. No shouting, no anger, just truth." Within the hour, the manager was escorted out, the same way she had once dismissed others she deemed unworthy. And for the first time, the staff saw Marcus not as a stranger, but as the man who owned the very bank they worked for. News of the incident spread quietly but swiftly across the company. It never made headlines. Marcus didn't want it to. He wasn't interested in revenge or humiliation. He wanted accountability. The bank released a statement reaffirming its commitment to equality and launched new anti-bias training across all branches. But for Marcus, the real victory wasn't in policy changes. It was in the reflection it forced. That moment had reminded him why he'd built this institution in the first place: to give people like him, like his parents, a place where they were seen, respected, and trusted. A week later, he visited the same branch again. The atmosphere was different, quieter, more humble. The new manager, woman of color, greeted him with genuine warmth. The same glass counter that had once reflected humiliation now reflected something new: progress, even if slow. As Marcus left the building, he looked up at the banner hanging across the street. His face, printed alongside the bank's motto: building trust, breaking barriers. The same walls that once held prejudice now carried his legacy. Because sometimes justice doesn't shout. It stands tall, steady, and undeniable, like a man who refuses to be broken by the very system he built to change. And for anyone watching, the message was clear. Respect is not granted by position. It's revealed by character. So the next time you judge someone by how they look, remember, you might be standing in front of someone who owns the very world you underestimate them in. If this story moved you, share it. Let others see what dignity under pressure really looks like. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because every story we tell brings us one step closer to the world we deserve.